I'm Jess.
And I'm Carly. And this is the Only Human podcast. I could just feel that I was like so out of alignment with myself and my values. I felt so empty. I started to feel like a shell of myself. That was so debilitating for me, like that fear of putting myself out there and just the fear of like letting people in. We have our emotional support water bottles. We do. Now we got the giggles.
Are we good? Okay. Oh, God. This is what happens when I get the microphone so close to me.
You're like hitting it.
I'm like
Schmack,
eating
schmack.
it.
Oh, eating it.
Oh, my
It's a
hair
little
was
different.
like all draped over it.
That's why I have my hair back and slick.
Yeah.
Even like I washed it yesterday, and so I was like gonna wear it down, give myself a nice little blowout, and then I was like, no, I instantly put like hairspray and gel in it and slicked it back.
Yeah, it looks great.
Thanks.
I love it like that.
A little scrunchy.
You're giving Princess Leia vibes.
Princess Leia. What's
From
she from?
Star Wars.
I like don't watch. I don't think I've ever seen.
I think my dad
I'm
is gonna be the
scared.
only one that's gonna get that reference.
I'm scared to look it up. Is
It's
she like
just
a cute
like-
princess or like
It's not like the face. It's more just like the vibe. Like you're wearing white and you have this.
Jess? Are you? First off, she is 2. Oh my God,
She does have
no.
2, but they're like, but there's sometimes she has like one big one. I feel
Time
like.
out. Let me just change my hair really quick. No, I mean, it definitely is because I also have this big scrunchie in.
Yes, it's the scrunchie, I think.
They're in,
Yeah,
okay?
they are. I know. It looks great.
Thanks. I'll just own it. Princess Leia.
When I was little, I would be like, Mom, can you give me Princess Leia buns? And she would give me like 2 buns in the back.
Yeah, I guess it was cute when you're like 5.
Yeah,
When
yeah.
you're
It
28,
was cute.
not so much.
Depends what you're into, I guess.
Oh my gosh.
Not Star Wars, I assume.
No.
No.
I'm not a movie person. We always talk
I
about
know.
this. We agreed we're the Millers, and
Yes.
now here you are deviating from what we agreed upon.
Well, wait, guess what? I watched it last night. It was on TV, and me
Nuh-uh.
and Aunt were like, all right, we have to watch it. We started like halfway through. So Aunt was like, wait, why did he say? And I was like, okay, because this happened. But yeah, it was great.
That's
so
actually
funny.
on quite frequently. Like
Is
I feel
it?
like that's a movie
It's like
that's
a staple.
replayed.
Yeah. Yeah, it was probably like Comedy Central or something, but yeah. So
It's
it was a
funny every
nice little
time.
refresher.
Yeah. You have your references ready.
Yes, I'm very
Perfect.
ready. No regrets. Really? Not even one single letter? Not one single letter. Nope. No regrets.
Too freaking good.
Oh my gosh. So I feel like we've been talking about today's topic and talking about doing today's topic for like so long, but it just hasn't really like fit. But I feel like a couple people have like asked to talk about singleness, and I feel like you're in the thick of it because of all the bachelorettes and like weddings and stuff that you're in and are coming up. So
We
yeah.
haven't been pushing it off by design. I feel like we were just excited to talk about other things
Oh
first.
yeah.
And then we were kind of like revisiting the topic suggestions that we've been getting, and singleness was one of them. And I'm absolutely in the thick of it. I've been in the thick of it for like, I guess, a couple years now, but especially this summer. Like I have 3 bachelorettes in 4 weeks right now. And so I just feel like being in that stage of life, being 28, nearing 30, we talked a little bit about it in like our milestones and timelines episode. And I just think it's a topic that a lot of people also bring up to me personally. And sometimes my friends or my family will be like, your time is coming. And they're always like curious what's going on in my dating life. And so, yeah, I feel like I'm definitely happy to talk about it on the podcast because I'm sure a lot of people can resonate because we're at this point in life where you either have people that are getting married and starting a life and buying a home and having children, which all of my friends are doing, or you have people like me that are kind of still in their singleness and have yet to like start that next chapter. And so kind of finding that like transition period of not looking at this as like a limbo phase or like a waiting period, but instead like how can you live your life as independently as you can before finding like that lifelong partner. So.
Yeah. And I think for people like that are thinking about this topic and wanting to hear about it, I think people at this age, when you are single, or even when you're in a relationship, like you're basically in the thick of either one. Like maybe in your early 20s, like if you're the single friend, you're not really like feeling it as much. But I think right now, if you're single, like you're really feeling it. And I can't even imagine the modern dating scene, which we'll get into, but like I can't imagine. Yeah, like I feel like it really just is being in the thick of it. But I'm interested to like hear like my questions for you and like your answers because we live completely different lives.
It's so funny too because you're also 26, so you're 2 years younger than me, and we've mentioned before you're married, you're a homeowner, and then you have me who's 28 and just in a complete different stage of life. But I think it's interesting because it really depends like where you grow up. And obviously people in the South get married and have kids so much younger. Where I'm from, Northeast Philly, I feel like it's kind of similar. People like settle down and usually end up with others from Northeast Philly. But then I compare myself and my timeline to people that I went to college with at Penn or people that I met in New York. And I'm more so on that same timeline. I feel like naturally people just settle down a little bit later in life. So I definitely think it's kind of like a byproduct of your environment and who you surround yourself with, because ultimately those are the people that you're comparing yourself to.
Yeah, of course. So how long have you been really single for? Like, I guess, well, I think we should probably define like being single because there is like so many different terms that I don't even understand anymore. Like, it used to be like
I can make
having
it easy for you because it's been
it's single
none of
or
the
not.
above. Yeah, I mean, no, like I haven't even really talked to anybody. Like I guess
it's like talking, but then you're like not exclusive, but then it's like it's not really like will you be my girlfriend? It's more like let's be exclusive. Like that's my understanding of it. I don't even know.
Yeah, you're way further out of the game because you've been with your husband for 11 years. I think you're like dating and then you're kind of just like talking, and then I think you become exclusive, which means like you're not seeing anybody else, but there's no label on it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think when you get older, some people do actually ask the question like, will you be my girlfriend? And so then you have a label on it and you're in a relationship. And then other times I think people just kind of naturally reach that stage and it's just assumed.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, like I said, it's pretty easy for me. My last real relationship, and I guess as real as it can be when you're in college, was in college. And we broke up my senior year. So that was 2019. I think it was in May of 2019. So almost over 6 years now. If I'm doing the math right. Yeah. I had like a little stint of, I guess, exclusivity in between there. But really have been like as single as you can be for the last 6 years. And I don't know if I would categorize myself as a relationship girl. Like I feel like I hear a lot of people say, you know, I'm always in a relationship. And to those people, I ask, where are you finding these men that you want to spend all of your time with and commit to? Because that is what amazes me the most. I would say for the first like 3 to 4 years of being single, I was totally fine with it. I was kind of doing my own thing, coming into my own. And then I would say for the last 2.5 years, I've felt really ready to find that person and to settle down. But it's not something I'm willing to compromise on and rush the process because I don't want to settle. And I just haven't found that person yet. So I would say it's not for a lack of like want for that relationship, but it just hasn't been something that's been presented to me yet or that I have yet to find.
Yeah. I can imagine that being single 6 years ago and being single now like look completely different for you.
It's so funny. Yeah. Because when I was first single, the first couple of years, I was living in New York and I was like using the apps and I was going on a lot of dates, but I just felt like my life was more conducive to meeting people because I was still in that like partying, going out, drinking phase. And I enjoyed it. And then I kind of reached that point where it wasn't enjoyable anymore. And now I just think my life and the social aspect of my life just looks so different.
Yeah.
And I'm not, you know, shutting the bars down. And I just think naturally that is where you meet people, especially because you're kind of like feeling loose and people literally go out with the intent to like be social and meet others. So I think it's just a natural thing that happens. But it's really hard to meet people now when I feel like I'm a little bit more intentional with how I spend my time, who I spend my time with. And so I think everybody dreams of like that organic meet cute, but it's just, it's a totally different dating scene. I also remember running into a lot of guys back in like college and post-college that I genuinely thought were like so cute. It was just easier to find people that I was interested in. And now I feel like it's so hard to like pique my interest.
Yeah. It's just reminding me of the friendships episode. Like when you're in college or whatever, like you are forced to be around people all the time. And it also makes me think about like when people work with other people, you're with them all the time and then you like naturally like them. Like, and I just saw this like meme and it was like, okay, would you like this person if they weren't with you 40 hours a week, every week, like whatever. But yeah, I can imagine that it's so difficult. Like just like meeting friends, like you have to be so purposeful about it.
So I actually love that you brought that up, like the spending time with people at work and then you grow to really like that person, because I've definitely experienced that before. Like I feel like when you spend a lot of time with somebody, you naturally build this rapport and then you become attracted to them. But it's like the rapport and the chemistry and the relationship leads to the attraction, not the other way around. And I think dating culture, specifically dating apps, just are not built for that, because you're basing this person, like you're basing your opinion of this person off of their physical appearance and their stats. And you don't get to just meet them as they are and get to know them.
With like no pressure.
With no pressure. Yeah. So it really is so funny. I also feel like I work remotely right now and like see, not that I'm trying to date any coworkers, that's for damn sure. But yeah, it begs the question of, it's like, is chemistry instantaneous or does it grow? And I feel like people are in very separate camps when it comes to that.
That's such a good question, because I don't feel like there's an answer, you know, like I think it can be both ways. Like, I don't know. 'Cause like when you don't have that pressure, like you said, and you just like a person and there's no like ulterior motive and you like have really good rapport with them and are like good friends with them, then maybe you're like, wait, I really like this person, and like start to see them differently and then can create that chemistry. Like there doesn't always have to be like a romantic chemistry right away. Like there isn't always going to be that, I feel like.
Yeah. And I think sometimes that chemistry can develop and other times it won't. It's just how long is that runway that you're going to allow it to potentially develop. And with, you know, in a situation like work where you're working alongside somebody for like years or something, like that's, you know, ample time. But if you are dating and you're waiting for that chemistry to grow, you might cut it off after 5 dates because you're like, I've given this a try, but your try has been like 5 hour-and-a-half dates, when in the grand scheme of things, that might be nothing. You're not even scratching the surface. So I think people just have like different tolerances for what it looks like to actually give things a try. And I definitely feel like I know pretty instantaneously if I am romantically involved in somebody. And I know the people in my life, you know, my closest friends and my mom and, you know, my sister, they're always like, you need to give people a chance. You need to let things grow. And you also hear a lot of stories of, oh yeah, I really was not interested in my husband and he was persistent, or we spent a lot of time together and it took off from there. But I don't know, like anytime I've ever tried to let things run their course and develop, I always just end up, you know, in the same
having the same
opinion as I started with. I just think I'm intuitive and I know if the potential is there. And if it's not, I'm not going to waste anybody's time.
Yeah. I think it's so hard because I think in a lot of instances why that happens is, like, I'm just speculating from the outside, but I think that it's because people just have these very specific boxes. Mm-hmm. And if you don't check those boxes right away, then people are like instantly turned off and they're like, no. And they can't see past that or like have any malleability in their school of thought. And so what I feel like is you have to just go into it with like an open mind. And of course, like core values and just like banter, like those things you can't really like get around. Mm-hmm. But like if you really connect with somebody on a different level, but then there's like other things that you're maybe like not sure about. Yeah. Like, I don't know, just like giving it a shot still.
Yeah, that's so true. Sense. My mom always says, like, you gotta like forget about the boxes. Like, you gotta forget about like your stereotypical, what you're attracted to, because somebody might surprise you. Mm-hmm. And that is true because it kind of goes both ways. It's like you can have all of these boxes and you might just need to throw them to the wayside because you'll end up being attracted to somebody anyway. Or somebody might check all your boxes and you're not attracted to them anymore, or you don't feel like it's right in your gut. And that's actually what happened to me with my latest relationship, which was still so long ago. But he was as close to perfect as it got, like truthfully, from my boxes standpoint and from like an objective standpoint. He was a wonderful partner. but there was something in me that was just resisting. And whether it was like the stage of life that I was in, me not being like ready for it, or him just simply not being my person, which, you know, was the case because he went on to find his person. But it was really hard for me to end that relationship because I didn't have a good reason for it. And I think it's hard to justify when you're looking at something on paper. You're like, wait, but this is everything I've ever wanted and prayed for and more. Why doesn't it feel right? And I think sometimes we lose that ability to just listen to that gut feeling or like that intuition because we don't have like the justification for it. But that doesn't mean it's not justified, you know?
Yeah, no, I can totally see that. And it doesn't just go for relationships either. Like what you're saying right now, and I don't want to dive too much into this right now because I feel like there's other questions that I have about singleness, but it's just reminding me of when you said in a recent episode, you just chase a feeling.
Yes.
Like you're not chasing like a destination. You're not chasing like that 6-foot sporty person that like whatever, like it's a feeling. Like, do you feel good when you're with them? Do they like make you laugh? Like those kind of things. It's like more about that. And then the boxes like come with that. And it's like you ultimately change for each other. You know what I mean? So like maybe like I never had exercise and wellness incorporated into my life. And that was something that was really important to Ant. And so now like I have found a lot of purpose and like I see that other side now because he introduced me to it. So it's like if I would have been like, oh, well, or if he would have been like, oh, she doesn't like go to the gym and prioritize her health and wellness and like eats like shit, like then we wouldn't have never worked out. But you know what I mean? So just like those superficial things, like when you come together and you have that mindset of like being flexible for each other and changing for each other in like the right ways, I feel like, yeah.
I love that you said that because actually on my drive here, I was thinking about like, what am I after? What am I looking for? It really is a feeling.
Yeah.
I know in my heart, like how I want to feel when I am in a relationship, like how I want to feel about that other person. And I have yet to find that feeling. And sure, I can say like what I'm physically attracted to or the qualities that I'm looking for. But deep down, like when I am getting ready to go see that person, I want to be giddy. Like I have a whole list of like feelings that I want to experience. But that is so true. Like the topic of growing into ultimately like the person that you want to be alongside your partner. But I think that happens more so when you meet as young as you and Ant did because you're still underdeveloped and you still have time to develop into the people that you aspire to be. And so it's easier to kind of do that alongside people. And I think this is also a topic of debate that people might have. Like, can you change your person? And I'm not talking about like a large scale change of like at their core who they are. But if I were to meet somebody right now who didn't prioritize health and wellness, knowing that's such a big part of my life, I don't know if I would want to try to change them because I don't think that's my job. However, at such a young age, I could imagine being like, we have so much life to live and we're trying to figure out our values together. And maybe I'm thinking about this in the wrong way, but I just think when you're like nearing 30, people are less likely to try to change and want to change. And I know for me, I'm not looking for somebody that I need to like alter in any way to fit my lifestyle. Like I want to meet somebody that's already compatible.
Right. I mean, I think like you're totally right. Like we have grown together and have become the person that we are together. And whereas you've found who you are. And that's why I think it's so hard to meet someone later because you aren't like as malleable. You're like, this is who I am. These are my values. This is what's important to me. But at the same time, if you meet this person and you get all those feelings from them and this and that, like maybe they just needed like a new perspective. Maybe they just needed all of the information. Like, is it worth it to be like, I'm not going to pursue this because they don't prioritize the things that I do?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Point. Yeah.
Like just like playing devil's advocate. Like what if you met someone that like didn't prioritize those things, but like didn't have all the information like you once didn't as well, or like someone else wouldn't? I don't know.
Yeah. I think if let's, for example, let's keep running with this health and wellness example. If they didn't prioritize that, that is fine. But what's your thing? What are you going to teach me? Like you need to be like so wholeheartedly passionate or educated about something. And maybe you can enlighten me and show me your world. But like, that's really what I need. It doesn't need to necessarily match up with my own.
Yeah.
But I know how passionate I feel about human connection and, you know, this podcast and my full-time job and how like I I really take pride in, I feel like, the things that I spend time on. And so I really look for a partner who equally has things that he's passionate about. And so
That makes
I'm
sense.
willing to like have their world look different,
Mm-hmm.
but he needs to have that thing
Yeah.
that lights him up.
Right. And it's not like you're going into it trying to change them and trying to like bring them over to your side, but it's just a matter of like differing perspectives and like being able
share
to
a world.
Yeah. Yeah. When are the times that you're like feeling it the most, that you're like the single friend?
Oh my God. Every day of my life. I would say I feel singleness at events like weddings. I didn't realize this, but that's actually probably when I feel it the most, which that's lucky because that's like one night this fall, it's like every weekend, but like usually every couple months. But I never realized how, at a wedding, I feel like if you're a couple, you're either excited about getting married one day, so you're kind of like giddy to celebrate somebody else's love, or you're already married, so you're kind of like reminiscing on your own. And then like you just naturally spend a lot of your time throughout the night with that person. And when the slow songs come on, like everybody finds each other. And I'm obviously lucky, like when it comes to my family and friends, like I never am alienated, and I'm pretty much, I can third wheel with anybody at this point. But I definitely notice singleness in those moments specifically. And then I would also just say, like, during bachelorettes, I am always so happy for my friends. Like, and they know that. Like, they know I'm genuinely so happy. But even the other day, my friend Shay got engaged. Well, this is like weeks ago at this point, but she was the latest engagement out of like the core 8 group of girls that I grew up with that I always reference. And that marks all 7 except for me. And I'm not even close to engagement, right? So it just goes to show like how far behind I feel in terms of like that aspect of my life. And my Aunt Jenna texted me and was like, oh my gosh, I saw Shay got engaged. Like, that's so exciting. And she's like, your time will come. And like, that was like unsolicited, unprompted. But I think she just knows deep down that I'm like, I see this and I'm like, I'm so happy. But then I'm like, I can't wait to experience that happiness for myself. So honestly, I feel like I feel singleness all the time, but especially when, actually I forgot something. Even when you're like the little things about like wanting to try a new restaurant or something, or traveling and like wanting to experience a new place. Like anytime I want to travel, my friends usually like want to travel with their significant others, especially if they're taking time off of work. Of course, we do like girls trips and stuff, and then even just the smaller things of like wanting to try a new restaurant. It's like hitting up my girlfriends being like, hey, do you want to go? And luckily I'm at no shortage of really good friends that will always try a new restaurant with me. But it's just interesting how I don't have like that built-in partner to experience life with. And so I'm either taking somebody away from their partner to experience it with me, or tapping into the few single friends that I do have.
Yeah, that's so interesting. I was going to say, like, what about the quiet moments, like the moments that aren't like the wedding or like the, like just those quiet moments at home where you're just like, what do I do with myself?
Yeah,
like,
well, I think I actually really felt that when I had my apartment in South Philly. That was the first time I ever truly lived alone. And so I think I compared it to living with roommates because that's what I had done in the past. But now that you say that, I should have been really comparing it to the potential life of I would have been sharing that apartment with a significant other. And yeah, like when you are getting home from work, it's like 5:30 and you're like, wow, I have a whole night. And like, not a lot of my friends really live in this part of town. And the one that does is probably eating dinner with her husband. And so it's like, what do I do? And then you wake up on a Saturday morning and you're like, wow, I have a whole day to fill. And if you had a partner, you'd be like, hey, do you want to, go to the farmer's market or go get coffee? And of course, I would still do those things, but you do kind of just feel like a little bit of a lack. And then not even to mention like the financial aspect of it, like splitting the rent with somebody or having a dual household or a dual income household. Even those things. I mean, that's not really a part that I necessarily focus on.
No,
but it definitely is real.
Yeah, no, it is. Even just like going out to a nice restaurant and
Or buying a hotel room for weddings. Like I'm going to Missouri in a couple weeks for one of my college friends' weddings, and I literally wouldn't miss it. But I was like, oh my gosh, I have to buy a hotel room for 2 nights. And that's like literally one of 12 weddings that I have this fall. And so I reached out to one of my other really good friends from college and was like, hey, I know you and your boyfriend are going. I'm like, would you ever want to split a room? I'm like, totally fine if not, but I just figure we're only sleeping in there. And so like, if you're also looking to save money, like let me know. I'm down to split. Like, I don't mind sharing with a couple. And she was like, oh my God, yeah, that's fine. That works. So like now I'm splitting a room with my friend and her boyfriend. But it's moments like that where you could literally save some money if you just have another person.
Yeah. Or they could just pay for it too. You could be like,
that too.
Well,
but
my dinner will be free, actually.
Oh yeah, let me clarify. I was talking about splitting like the hotel rooms and like the rent. I'm not splitting dinner with my boyfriend. That's for sure.
Take notes. I will not be pulling out my wallet.
No, I'm not even bringing my wallet.
How do you think that like since the beginning of singleness for you, which you didn't really probably realize it was the beginning, but what has that evolution been of like what you're looking for in a partner? Like, because 2019 you were a completely different person at that point, and aren't you glad that person that you were didn't pick a partner for you at that age, or are you not?
Yeah, I mean, I think back then I just put a little bit less pressure on it because I was simply dating for fun. So I knew I wasn't really trying to like date to find my husband when I was like 23, 24. And also when I say date for fun, like I said, I still liked going out and drinking and everything. So that was a part of it. And so I'd be getting drunk on like a Wednesday and going into work the next morning hungover and like thought nothing of it. Like that was just life. But I think now, recognizing that I'm 28, I'm just dating with a lot more intention, which kind of circling back to what we were saying a few minutes ago, it's harder because I'm less like malleable to dating just for fun or giving people a try. I'm kind of being a little bit more selective. Like, can I visualize this person as my husband, as the father to my children? And that's a lot of pressure up front.
So much pressure.
It's a lot of pressure and it's a lot of expectation for that individual. And for me, that if I'm dating somebody, it could lead into that. But again, it kind of circles back to like, I don't have that much time to waste anymore. And some people are like, oh my God, 28 is so young. And it is young. Like I'm not saying I need to get married in the next like 3 years, but I think I do need to have that at the back of my mind when I'm choosing people that I'm spending time with, that I really never had to do before when I was newly single, because it was A, kind of like a novel world, B, it was conducive to just going out and drinking, and it was just another part that was like along for the ride. But now the perspective has definitely shifted a little bit.
Yeah, and not to mention just like physical time in the week. Like you're already as busy as it is. You're not like, oh, I don't really know if I even like this person, so why am I going to spend like 3 hours of my night? Like
couple that with being a homebody.
Yeah.
I don't even like leaving the house, especially like during the week. I'm like so keen to just cook at home and just chill. Yeah. So to like actually do makeup and, get out of the house, be out late, get thrown off my routine a little bit. Like, of course, that's part of dating. I have to do that and I'm willing to do it. But that just goes to show I'm willing to do it and the person needs to be worth it for me. Yeah.
Oh, it's so hard because it's like, will you know if that person's worth it? Like, you know what I mean? In the first date, I don't know.
I typically do.
Yeah. That goes back to our previous conversation.
Yeah. But then again, sometimes I have to force myself to give it the second, the third. Yeah. Like I have to give it a shot. Otherwise, I might be leaving things on the table that I never would have known about. Yeah. And that's equally as scary as never finding the person.
What do you think about today's dating culture? Just like the superficialness of it, the dating apps, like the ghosting and like never really getting answers. Like, I don't know, have you experienced any of that like negative stuff that's going on right now?
It's so funny. Within that one question, I just had like 10 thoughts pop into my head. So I'm going to try to sort through them. I think dating culture is really hard. I think with the apps, especially for men, they have a plethora of women at their fingertips. Maybe I'm biased, but I think women are, like, I think there's the pick of the litter when it comes to like men versus women. Like, I just think it's easier for guys to like find a good girl than a girl to find a good guy. And I think with apps and Instagram, there's always going to be like that next beautiful Instagram model, whether she's real or not. Same thing with the app. So I think they're more inclined to just like keep swiping and never really settle down. I think the men these days are being bred a little bit different. I think they're not as willing to be rejected or take a risk. And so I think that shows up when you're out and about. Like, men aren't really approaching as much as they used to. And I think they're more content kind of staying behind the phone, liking you on an app. I even get like liking my Instagram pictures a lot, or like liking my story. And I'm like,
do you think that's men, or do you think that's just our culture in general? There's no wrong answer. I'm just curious because I'm just thinking about like,
I think
feel
that's
like for
men
everyone
in our culture. So
Yeah.
you're saying can it go both ways? Like, are women also doing that?
like
Yeah.
more comfortable just being behind the screen and like I don't
Yes.
know.
No, I do think it is the culture. I do. But I think I'm only speaking as a female that would like to be pursued. And I think because I'm old school, I'm very traditional.
Yeah.
I want like that manly man who feels extremely confident to come up to me in person and like isn't using social media as a tool.
Yeah.
And again, I don't want to say that because if we wouldn't have run into each other naturally,
Right.
that's fine. But liking a picture or liking a story, like that's not considered making a move.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to see you liking my pictures and DM
And be
you
like,
being like,
ooh.
hi. Yeah. I'm like, at minimum,
They're like
you can like,
baiting you to like
right. Like, that's not my job to like decode. Like,
So do you feel like at this point in your life, would you pursue a guy, or you feel like you still are like, no, they need to pursue me? Like if you saw somebody at a bar or like wherever you were at, like
I actually have done that before, because also I have I am very traditional, but I also am not the type that I'm like, I'm just going to sit back and like let the man find me. Like if I see somebody that I'm interested in, this is actually kind of a funny story. I've told this on Figure It Outable like years ago, but me and my little sister Reagan were at the mall one time, and there was this guy working this kiosk. And it was like one of those hair kiosks. He was like straightening this girl's hair. But when I tell you, he was so good looking. He had like this monochromatic outfit on, like looked very put together, was like tall, dark hair, like light eyes, like tan skin. I was like, oh my God, he's gorgeous. And I was like, I cannot leave this mall without shooting my shot. Like I just have to. So my sister was like, all right, well, I'm not coming with you. Like I'll stay in Victoria's Secret. Like you do what you got to do. So we were in Macy's, and I asked for like one of like the perfume, or I got a perfume swatch, asked for a pen, wrote like my name and number. And then I walked up to him. I was like, I'm sorry, but like you are so attractive. Are you single? And he was like, I am. And then we're like chatting for a couple minutes. We exchanged numbers. And when I got home, I told my mom about it. She's like, absolutely not. You are not going out with. She was like, because it was more about stranger danger. She's like, you don't know this person, and like, why is he like, yada yada. She had her own concerns as a mother. All to say, I will definitely go up, because I also believe that in life, if you have to go after things too. You have to meet in the middle a little bit. And I truly don't. Yes, I want to be pursued, but that can also look like after that initial meeting, they step into that role and continue to pursue me. I don't think it needs to be them coming up to me. So yeah, I do think I need to play an active role. With that being said, I rarely see people out in the wild that I want to go pursue. So I don't get that opportunity very often.
I thought that story was going to go somewhere.
Where do you think it was going to go?
I don't know. I thought he was going to be like gay. He's like,
Well,
yes, I'm
no.
single, but I do not like women.
No. Well, there was a funny caveat. So he was like, yeah, as initially, like right off the bat, I noticed he had an accent. I couldn't place my finger on what it was. But when I went to put my number in his phone, it was all in Hebrew. And I was like, where are you from? So he was un-American. We would have made it work. It was fine. But yeah, we never even
started
went on a
learning
date.
Hebrew. Oh my drive home.
Wait, are you serious? Oh, I thought you meant on my drive here.
No,
I was like,
no.
it's fine. It's a language barrier. I was like, I don't know how to I'm like, can you put my number in here or change your keyboard back to English? Because like
That's
that was
so funny that you didn't just turn around at that point.
I know. I was committed to the bit. I was like, you know what? I'm told to finish what you start. We texted for a few days, and then I was like, I'm not going to be a pen pal. I'm not the type, like, if I don't see it going anywhere and I don't have the intention to like meet up in person, I'm not going to continue to write you, which kind of goes back to like the apps. I think it's not always set up for success because some people are on there just to like chat. And I'm like, I don't even like to text the people that I love. There's no way in hell am I texting like this random ass person that I don't even know. Like, I'm also a big believer in getting to know somebody in person. So I'm not going to be asking you like these deep questions about your family life and your upbringing and your travels like over the phone. Like, I think it's normal to see if there's a banter. I think like that's the beginning of a conversation. And then once you kind of like take a liking, at least, you know, you want to explore it further, then within, you know, the first couple of days, hey, let's get a date on the calendar. Let's meet up and like go out for dinner or drinks or something.
Yeah, that makes sense. Have you ever felt like your standards had to be lowered or that you were like being too picky? Have you ever had that kind of pressure that you put on yourself?
I think I should probably lower my standards right now. See, that's so funny because like I feel like that's something I would still do today. Like I do talk about these like crazy standards that I do have, but I also am open-minded sometimes. Like I will let myself be surprised. I want to be surprised. I want somebody to like shock me and give me that feeling and me be like, oh my gosh, this is not the person that I thought that I was going to be attracted to. And I've experienced that before in like certain situations, not necessarily somebody that I can end up with, but I've been like so intrigued or like feel this attraction towards somebody. And that gives me hope that it's there. And like that person did not check any of my boxes or would not fit into like, you know, the preconceived notions that I like have set out. And that alone is like, okay, that's evidence that it exists. It's just, you know, again, it's a little bit hard to come by. And I have a hard time putting my finger on exactly what that thing is. But I think like above all, it's kind of like emotional intelligence and maturity and masculinity. I think that's like the common theme between who I seek out. And going back to like culture and like just how men are being raised in the society, like I don't really think it's like that old school manly man mentality. I think it's a little bit softer. And with like the whole wave of like feminism, I think like sometimes men hide behind like, oh, we're confused. Like, is it offensive if we want to buy you dinner? Like, no, it's not offensive, I promise. So yeah, I just think like they're a little bit different than they were. I don't think they make them like they used to. They don't make them like they used to. They sure don't.
Do you feel like you have any, just like wrapping up, do you feel like you have any misconceptions that people like think about people that are single in their late 30s? Or like maybe things that you feel insecure about that like maybe you think other people think about you?
So it's interesting because I feel like throughout the years, I've gotten the question like, oh, why are you single? And like I've asked the question too about other people. I'm like, oh, this guy seems like normal or like he has a lot going on, whatever. Like, I wonder why he's single. And like guys have straight up asked me that, why are you single? As if like, oh, something is wrong with you. And it's like, I'm single because I choose to be single because I haven't met the person that I want to be with yet. And I could lower my standards or I could get in a relationship just for the sake of being in a relationship. But I've said this before on the podcast, like I have very high standards for everything in my life, not only for my passions, but my job, my hobbies, my friendships. Like I want the best. And I always joke, I feel like this is like a silly story that kind of paints the picture. And it kind of sounds a little bit bad because it always looks like I'm like always thinking the grass is greener. But when me and my best friend Michelle were in Australia, I literally drove her fucking crazy because I would make her say we were in like Bondi Beach. We would be looking for a coffee place. And I would make her like walk around and like see every coffee place before we chose one. And she's like, this one's the first one. Like, this one looks fine. Let's just go here. And I'm like, but what if the best coffee spot is literally right around the corner? We would never know it. And so not to say that that's how I live my life, but it goes to show how like I truly believe that you need to put into the work sometimes. And there's really great potential out there if you just wait for it and seek it out. And high standards. Like I believe my person is out there. Luckily, I'm also religious, so I have my faith to lean on, and I believe that God has a plan and my person in mind and my timeline, in mind as well. And it's not, at some point it's kind of out of my hands. It's kind of like let go and let God. But yeah, I would just say like that's kind of like the misconception of like the question of why are you single, and people not realizing it's an active choice, that I'm not going to just get in a relationship for the sake of it.
Yeah,
and
you
settle.
could if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Just to say
Just
you're
like
in a
anybody else could.
relationship.
Literally any single person could find somebody willing to be in a relationship. Anybody. Like I'm not saying anything special here, but if somebody is single, yes, it could mean that they're not ready to settle down, but it could also mean that they're so ready to settle down that they're waiting for that right person. And that's, my case is the latter.
Do you feel like you have anything else that you wanted to touch on?
I think, what? I didn't even hear you from over here. I'm like, literally, what did you just say? That was, I think, the lowest you've ever gotten. I mean, I could surmise what you said, but like.
I'm whispering because as if I'm not going to edit this part out anyway. But no, I was just going to say.
Okay. You could.
Do you want
to have anything else?
Yeah, do you have anything else to add?
I really don't. No.
Okay.
I don't.
I feel like we kept it pretty light.
I think so. Just the rest of my life we're talking about.
I can't wait until us and your future husband watch this back. And we're going to be like, she had no clue what was in store for her.
Well, I think we have captured on camera and on this podcast you saying that you're going to introduce me to my future husband. So, yeah, I can't wait to meet him when you decide who he is.
I'm just holding him for when I feel like you're ready for him.
Perfect. Let go and let Jess. That's what they say.
Oh my gosh. I wonder why you're still single, but like in a good way. I'm like, you're a complete catch. Like, how are you still single? How hasn't somebody snatched you up yet?
You're sweet.
This is my mental health resource this week is kind of like the opposite of what we talked about today. But it's having my morning coffee outside with my husband.
Oh my God, I love.
Is my mental health resource.
That's so sweet.
I mean, of course you can do this alone too, but I personally have been doing it with my significant other. And just like the last week or so, it has been so beautiful and crisp in the morning, and it just like starts your day off right.
I feel like that's such a great way to like have intentional time because there's no distractions. And it's not like you have to do it for an hour plus. Like it can be 20 minutes, but it's just such like a special moment and thing to like start your day off with just like genuine conversation and alone time.
Yeah.
Outside. Like,
listening to nature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds very nice.
What's yours?
Mine is washing your hair. And I don't take that mental health advice enough because I do try to wash my hair like once a week, maybe twice a week if there's something crazy going on. But it really does have the ability to make me feel instantaneously better. And I always wonder like why I don't do it more often. Yeah.
Yeah.
But even just like a shower, like thinking about like any morning that you're hungover, any day where you're just like feeling stressed or overwhelmed, like there's nothing better than like a good shower, just like reset. And as a girl, I think just like washing your hair and then blowing it out if you have a little bit of extra time, like even better. I just feel like it makes you feel like a brand new person.
So true. I can't really speak to that because I wash my hair every day. But.
That's crazy to me.
I know I'm the weird one, but still.
Yeah. Now, do you let it air dry or are you blow drying? Okay. Because I feel like your hair, like the normal state of it, if you just let it air dry, is like really pretty. Whereas if I let it air dry, it looks crazy.
I don't know if I believe that, but.
The one time you wore your natural hair and I was like, oh my God.
No,
like,
I know about your hair. I don't think your hair would be.
All right. Well, I'll show up with my natural hair to the next podcast recording and we'll let the viewers
take a poll.
Decide.
Yes.
Never
I got my poll.
Are you trying to make me be single forever? If you're trying to sabotage me, just say it.
Just say it.
Just say it. All right. Well, thank
gosh.
you guys for listening. And we'll catch you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye. Look at me doing the outro for once.
I did your bye.